Hi, everyone. Welcome to the program. A few housekeeping rules. Please keep yourself muted and enter any questions you may have for the speaker in the chat. This is being recorded and you will be sent the URL to the link on YouTube at the completion of this program. So please be on the lookout for that. Jan, you want to take it away?
Jen, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Champa Zanchin. I'm the director of the Small Business Development Center here in Rochester, New York. So delighted to have everybody on board. We're excited to do this program today because this is a very good program for small businesses. It's a very easily accessible program for small businesses. And more importantly, it basically is available to every small business out there with very few strings attached, which you'll hear about shortly. Just want to make clear to everyone that we at the Small Business Development Center provide one-on-one counseling at no cost to small businesses and to startups. So that's important to keep in mind as you're listening to today's program. And we're going to walk through, I believe, the application as well very briefly, so you get a sense of what that is. And if you still believe that you need help with this, we're more than happy to meet with you, and we've been doing virtual sessions either by phone or Zoom or Microsoft Teams, so we can work with you to fill out the application, make sure you get everything organized and together. And certainly the main ingredients are filling out the form and then uploading all the documents that are being asked for. So with that being said, we'll let the folks from Lindustry take over. Jatira Talavera, please go ahead and fill us with wisdom.
All right, awesome. Good morning, everyone. Or afternoon. So we're doing the New York State COVID pandemic Small Business Recovery Grant Program, also known as the $800 million grant that the state is putting on. One of the most important things to know about this grant is that it is a simple grant, but it also needs to go ahead and meet the eligibility. All right, so the amounts that we go into are at least your business had to have made in 2019 $25,000 and no more than 500,000. All right, so that's one of the major contributions to that first eligibility. So if your company is within the scope within 2019, you're already good. If you went over 500,000 in 2020, this is not the grant for you. Okay, so meeting the eligibility for your company is one of the most important things that you will go ahead and need to do for the eligibility portion. Eligibility business qualifications, you have to have had a small business prior to March 1st, 2019. All right, so for all those companies that started prior to March 1st, 2019, this is a grant for you. Anything that happened after that, you would not be eligible for this grant, okay? Let's say that you started your business as an independent contractor and you filed your taxes for the lot for 2017, 2018, and 2019 as an independent contractor. You have a Schedule C on your taxes, and then you became an LLC. We want to know that date back in 2017. That will make you eligible because you already started working at your business. You just had a different company change. So if you did that, that's fine. We just need to know the progression. Okay, and if you need me to go over that, put it in the chat so I make sure I cover it today. All right, so how do you know if you made at least the $25,000 to $500,000 maximum? Well, you look at your taxes. So if you don't have a paper and pen at the moment, please get one. You're going to have a little bit of homework to do so that you have access and you're prepped. So when you are able to sit down and complete the application, you have all the information needed for the application, okay? So you go ahead and bring out your taxes for 2019, 2020, you look at what form was filled out for you. And then you go into that line. So let's, for example, say you are an independent contractor or a small sole proprietor. You would look at your Schedule C in your 1040 files. And under your Schedule C, you'll look at line 1. And that's where you'll know how much you actually grossed for that year. Okay, so if you meet that minimum amount, then we're good. Now, we need to go ahead and make sure that you were profitable. So meeting the gross receipts is not the same as the net profit. So this is the second portion. You're looking at your Schedule C, line 31. If you met that at least $1 in net profit, you're ready to go ahead and apply. And that must have been in 2019. If you operated at a deficit in net profit in 2019, this would not be the grant for you. So far, we're good, right? We started before March 1st, 2019. We did make at least $1 in net profit, and we grossed about $20,000 or more $1,000. So far we're doing well. Now, in 2020, pandemic hit, there was a loss. Did your loss include more than 25% of what you made the previous year? So if you went ahead and found that loss, that's where you're going to go ahead and say, if you're comparing your your 2019 to your 2020. If there's a 25% loss, then this is the grant that is specified for you. If you had more of a loss, the better the possibility. If the loss is lower than the 25%, you will not be the priority for this grant. You can apply if you like, but you are not the priority. The priority for this grant is all those that have made that had a loss of 25% or more from 2019 to 2020. All right, so you already started your business, you met the net profit of at least $1, your gross is at least 25,000. You went ahead and saw that you had a loss of 25% or more. Okay, so these are the minimum requirements. Now, do you operate in the state of New York? Is your operation location in New York? So if you are not, if your base is in New Jersey and you work out of New York, this is not the grant for you because your base is in another state. You want to make sure that because this is a New York State grant, that your business is in New York, not just doing business. All right. You must have also been incorporated in New York if you are a corporation. Okay. Anything that you want to add, Jan?
No, but I got a couple of chat questions for you at this point.
All right, awesome. Go for it.
Are private duty nurses eligible for this grant?
If you and look at your taxes, make sure that you're seeing that you are either under a professional license. If you're not, then you're looking at making sure that you did home care of some sort, but you have to check your taxes. So Schedule C under your 1099 would mostly be like it if it's home care. Any additional?
Another question from Jim McGuire. He says, I submitted our application a few weeks ago. When I go to the website to see where things stand, all I get is a message saying awaiting selection process. When I call the 877 number, I'm essentially told to be patient. No one can give me a timeline for when I can expect to hear an outcome. Do you have any sense for how long this should take?
So what you're being told is correct. Because this is not a first come, first served grant, the length of time may vary between what your eligibility status is. So we are giving priority to the ones that are 25% or more in loss. We are going ahead and and looking at the affected areas of COVID, the underserved parts of the state. So because of that, the pool of priorities may shift. So there is no deadline for us, all right? So the more that time goes by, the closer you can get to the priority list. So as the call center said, please be patient with us. We know that this can help you, but at this moment, we just need some patience so that we can get to your application. And making sure that you do have a complete application is priority. So if you did an application but didn't upload any of your taxes for 2019, 2020, your application certification and your ID, then you don't have a complete application. So we're not going to be able to move you to that completed application stage. So just make sure that that's being taken care of.
And where is the application located on the web?
So the application is located down at the bottom, and the reason we did that is on purpose. So I'll go ahead and continue the eligibility portion. And as you see, where you apply is nysmallbusinessrecovery.com. You will go ahead and see that Lindustry is the sole administrator of the state of New York for this grant. So if your grant page that you're applying doesn't look like this, get out as soon as possible because you're in the wrong page. All right. So you're even go ahead, read the eligibility before you even apply. Remember, you guys do have homework getting your taxes for both 2019, 2020, and having them in front of you when you're applying. You're going to go ahead and click on the application guide. Now, the application guide has all the information. If you don't want to hear me today, that's fine. The application guide has everything I'm going to go over. So if you say, Kadira, I don't understand your English, that's fine. There is Arabic, Bangladesh, Chinese, Italian, Hindi, Polish. We even have Yiddish and Spanish. So go ahead and go over the application guide. Now they're like, okay, so I do the application guide and it mentions something about an application certification. That's great. We have a place where you can download the application certification and it's right here. Now, required documents. Yes, we are going to require additional documents. Yes, it's a simple application, but we need to go ahead and prove what you're saying is true. So we do need that kind of documentation. So the proof of gross receipts, proof of business organization, where you're currently located. Remember, this is only for those that have the businesses in the state of New York. We also go ahead and verify the proof of the number of employees, the fund distribution. We'll go ahead and take care of that once you are selected. But we also want to go ahead and have the schedule of ownership if you have a partnership or if you're a co-op. Okay, so it goes over certain things for different businesses. So if it doesn't apply to you, that's fine. Move on. Don't get boggled on for the stuff that doesn't apply. All right, but do pay attention for the stuff that does. All right, we do have a couple of FAQs here, and then we tell you you can begin the application. All right, so the application, you're able to go ahead and click on apply now, and you will be able to apply. If you need additional help, you can contact anybody at Brockport at the SBDC. You can go ahead and contact Chamber of Commerce. Those are also good partners to go ahead and have. And the Urban League is another partner that can assist you in these transitions for the application help. But they're only open until about 5 o'clock. So if it's 7 or 8 o'clock, 6 or 7, you could call us because we're open until 8 o'clock. All right. Any questions so far? Going once, going twice. Awesome. All right, now we're going to begin the application. So when you're beginning the application, you're going to go ahead and have something look like this. And I may want to go ahead. So you're going to go ahead and see. I want to show you this first. There's this little portion. I thought I was going to be able to. There is a page that makes you wait for the application if there's too many people on it. And it has a little timer, and it'll let you know, just be patient. It usually doesn't take a lot, but as you saw, I was able to go straight to the application, meaning the traffic right now is low. All right. If you're starting a new application, you're going to click on here to apply. If you're telling someone about this application because you are super awesome and you want other people to go ahead and have an opportunity at this grant, you could go ahead and tell them about this, and then tell them that they could actually watch another webinar and stuff to go ahead and tell them how to set up for the start of a successful application. All right. So we do want you to go ahead and use Google Chrome when you're actually doing this application. Why? Because you don't want a headache. So use Google Chrome on any of your devices. Make sure that if you don't have it, that you download the latest one. If you have it and you haven't updated your system, make sure you use something that we call Incognito Mode. Incognito Mode will allow you to go ahead and get the newest version of Windows. Okay. You also want to disable your pop-up blockers and clear out your cache, because we don't want all of that junk that you had from previous applications to go ahead and ruin the chances of you putting in your new application. All right. What do I mean by junk? So sometimes we put in our old work address. Sometimes our apartment number is missing. Sometimes we write our phone number incorrectly. So all of these things are saved in your cache. We don't want them. We want you to have a clean application, and as such, we'll go ahead and start from there. Once again, if you went ahead and you bypassed all of the eligibility information and what you would need, we are telling you once more. So we do want you to go ahead and get reminded that we want you to use Google Chrome and to disable your pop-up blocker. It's fine. After the application, you could go ahead and block all the ads that you want. I understand. So click on apply. And then that first part of the application will help you set up a username and password. All right. You're going to go, I don't know where to put my password. That's fine. You'll be sent a temporary password to go ahead and move on your application. You have a watch video for each section, and they look like this. You guys get the idea, right? So we want you to go ahead and have some music, some form of entertainment, and give you as much information as possible. We're going to go ahead and have you have a section of each section will be accompanied by a video. Do you have to watch the video? No, you sat through this webinar and listened to me. So you're going to be a genius when you leave. All right. So as it said, you're going to go ahead, enter the information. My name is Yavira Talavera, just in case you guys didn't know. And I'm going to be using this email. Do not email me, please, because this is a non-monitored email, so it will not do you any good. If you do want to email someone, please go ahead and email. Jan, can you go ahead and put your email in the person in your office that will be taking care of the New York grant, please?
I've got our contact information in the chat room.
Awesome. All right, do you guys see this? It doesn't take it. Why? Because I wrote it incorrectly. This is why I want you not to use a copy paste when you're doing the application. If I would have copy pasted, then my email would have gone somewhere else and I wouldn't have received something for me, and it would just start a whole mess of problems. So make sure you're typing all of the information out. For an owner's cell phone, make sure that you actually do give us a cell phone. The reason is we can communicate to you via text. So if you don't give us something that is a cell phone, then you're missing out on some of that communication with us. Why? Because we send emails and sometimes people don't respond to us. Then we call and people don't answer the phone. So we do the best next thing, which is send you a text. So giving us the permission to send you a text right here allows us to communicate with you. And just so you know, we're not going to go ahead and pay for any additional text. And that's what that SMS text policy tells you. So we will keep it to a minimum though. We won't say good morning every day. We won't give you morning jokes, but we will let you know that you've been selected and we're trying to reach you. All right. All right, referral partner. Referral partners are important. If you have a referral partner within the program, if you've been working with one, go ahead and select them. Here's the Urban League, as I told you. And then here's my SBDC. So here's the Chamber of Commerce. There's the New York Women's Chamber of Commerce. I'm trying to find you. Where are you, Jan? All right. Let's go for this one for right now. It's not finding a partner by county is important if you want to have someone close to you. All right. So we go ahead and list all of the partners within the state of New York.
Can you click on Monroe County?
Where am I going?
Monroe County. Click on that, please.
All right, good. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, awesome. All right, so then we'll go ahead and we could go ahead and find out where they're at and what address they're at and their hours of operation. All right, so that's how the partner lookup can go ahead and assist you. There's other organizations within that same county if you like. So when you're looking for it, just make sure that you try to get the closest to the organization. Your preferred language. I'm just going to leave it in English for right now. As I told you, make sure that all information on this top portion is correct. The reason I'm saying this is you won't be able to change any of the information once you hit continue on this top portion. All right. It continued on, and it's going to be sending me an email shortly. I'll go ahead and continue the application. Meanwhile, can you go ahead and give me some chat questions, please?
Now, let me take a look and see. Actually, there are no more questions in chat, but I did want to mention that some of the questions and actually the concern that we've been getting is the request for bank information and how secure is that information if it's being input into the system.
All right. So if you are going to, if you have been selected, that's when we're going to need your banking information. You can hold off on providing the backend banking information until you have been selected. The benefits of doing it beforehand, though, or as you're filling out the application, is that you are able to go ahead and move through the process a little bit more swiftly. I do recommend that you change your password with your institution after you have given it to PLAD. The reason being is that we don't need it anymore. And if it's because you don't feel safe, then that's fine. Go ahead and change it. You're supposed to be changing your banking password ever so often too. Is that hopefully that's a good answer? And yes, it's safe. They're from the same people that use PayPal.
Is there an alternative way of submitting that bank information if somebody's still going to stay skittish about submitting it online?
If at the time you have been selected, the banker will go ahead and go over those options with you. But I do prefer that the stuff be done online.
Okay. I think someone must have accessed the application and says that they're awaiting process selection is what my application says. Is that part of the process?
That is a part of the process. Just make sure that they have added all of the documents needed.
Okay.
So that it's a complete application. Now, I just want to go ahead and bring your attention back to the owner's detail. Social Security numbers are going to be blacked out on our side once you submit the application. If you do not have a social and you use your I-10, that is perfectly fine. Just make sure you're entering the correct number. So don't go ahead and put your son's social, mix it up in your head with, your husband. It's partially your husband's, partially yours. Make sure it's your complete social. If you need to take out your social security card to verify it, please do so. But make sure that you're actually entering your social. For purposes of this application, this is what I'm entering, but I do not want to see anybody with the same social because that's what I'm using. All right. The percentage of ownership. If you have a 100% ownership, that's fine, put it in. If you don't, go ahead and let us know. All right. Accepting the terms and conditions, we will go ahead and pull a soft credit on your file. You do need to go ahead and read the terms and conditions so that if you want to, but know that if you don't accept it, then you can't apply for the application. All right. So if you do have an issue with it, you could go ahead and not apply for the grant. That is fine. But the grant will not, the credit score on that you have will not affect your eligibility to receive the grant. Once again, your credit score will not affect the eligibility for you to receive the grant. Okay. I'm going to save and continue. All right. So all the information down here, you see how, as I told you at the top, make sure that you're entering your business name correctly. See how it has that little red mark? I can't change it anymore. I would have to come all the way up here and change it.
Nadira, a question on the credit score that you were just talking about. Is that personal credit score or business credit score?
Because it's the person, because it's an individual that's applying, it will be for the individual.
Okay. And one more question while you're scrolling through here. I've been in business since 1992, but changed my business entity to LLC on September 6, 2019. Am I eligible to apply? Business name is the same, just LLC added, the same business, and it's also 100% woman owned.
All right, awesome, congratulations. Yes, just make sure that when you're entering the ownership date right here, when your business was established, you're entering it how many years back you actually started your company. Okay, so if the company went ahead and started back in 1993, you're going to go ahead and put that. Just because there was a change in type of ownership of operation, doesn't mean that they're not eligible. All right. So meeting that prior to March 1st is very important. All right. And you will go ahead and have the application certification. It's 5 pages long, and there is a section where you could go ahead and notate that you were a sole proprietor prior, between this date and that date, and then you became an LLC moving forward. Okay. I hope that helps answer that question. All right, remember, if you are not incorporated, but because your business is in New York, you're going to be selecting New York. All right. If you do not have a DBA, you're going to go ahead and type in the word none. And there you're going to go, Yadira, so my business address and my home address are the same. That's perfect. But if you have live in a different place and your business is in a different location, I should have 2 different addresses. All right. So this one is the one for I live in unit A. Let's say that A is an actual retail space. So I'll go ahead and put that retail amount. All right. And I'm just coming up with all of these for the sake of time. All right. If you do not have a website, you'll go ahead and put none.com. It's defaulted. If you do leave it blank, it will tell you that something's missing and it won't let you go any further. All right.
Quick question. State of incorporation. Does it matter whether you're incorporated in New York State or Nevada or Connecticut or whatever?
Yes, it does matter. You must be incorporated in the state of New York to apply for this grant.
So if you decided to incorporate in Nevada for tax purposes, you're disqualified.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
So you are eligible to go ahead and use your grant money to cover expenses in the listed areas. You can go ahead and do a combination of them. However, let's say that you're going to go ahead and use the majority of the grant for one item. Go ahead and select that purpose of the grant. The estimated amount that you're eligible for, you're checking your eligibility based on what your gross receipts are. All right. So for this case, I'm going to go ahead and do the 5,000. Remember, we're looking at our taxes and we're making sure that they are aligned with what we're telling them that we made. Okay. Was my profitable business? Remember, this is where we're looking at our net profit. And the lines are listed down below. Okay. Whenever you see these little eyes, they're there to help you. If I'm a sole proprietor, so I do not have any full-time employees or part-time employees. I didn't create any additional jobs or retain any additional jobs in 2020. If you have employees, make sure that you are entering the number of employees that you have, right? The jobs that you created in 2020, let's say that you're a restaurant and you actually had to hire people to deliver the food. So if those were the jobs that were created, you would enter that amount there. Who is your customer base? B2B is business to business. B2C is business to customer. And if you do both, we have a little dot for you to select that. What does your business do? For this example, I sell products. What type of product do I sell? I sell a non-durable. Tell me more. The closest thing that I could get to this would be grocery related products. All right. Does anybody out there have a question where they don't know what type of business they are or what to go ahead and enter here? Go ahead and drop it in the chat right now. If you work as, let's say, a taxi, you would go ahead, or Uber driver, go ahead and do transportation right here. And then you could go ahead and select what type of transportation it is. Okay.
There a question came up, as a PDN, do I consider myself as an employee?
Primary, managing.
Goes back to the first question that we had. Hold on a second, let me scroll back up. Private duty nurse.
All right, say that one more time, the question.
As a private duty nurse, do I consider myself as an employee?
No.
Okay.
Well, look at your taxes. Look at your taxes. If you are, let's say, if you set up a corporation or a business entity, and you're paying yourself out of there, then you'll have to look at your taxes and see that. If you're paying yourself as an employee, if you're doing stuff as an independent contractor, then most likely you're not an employee. You're your own sole proprietor. So when trying to figure it out, look at how your taxes are set up and what line items we're asking. Okay.
And another question, if I'm a sole proprietor but have subcontractors, are my number of employees still 0?
That's correct. You could actually inform your subcontractors to apply for this grant. And that way you guys could both benefit from it. All right.
Okay, and a detailer still qualifies for this as well, someone who works who has a detailing business?
if they filed their taxes and they have operated prior to March 1st, 2019, yes.
Okay. And the question, what is B2B and or B2C? That's business to business and business to consumer, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right.
So one for me.
Awesome. So I put this one up because I do know that a lot of the time we have somebody that is very handy. If you are manufacturing or you're selling a product, you could go, that's how you're gonna broadly base this section. So what do I do? What's that major contribution that I have as a business? All right. So if you're in the construction business, you're going to go ahead. I'm a general contractor or special trade contractor. I'll tell you a little bit more. Like, well, I'm an electrician, so that's where you would go ahead and put it. If you do a service, let's say as a auto repair, or if you do, I guess you can even do personal services. All right, so maybe not personal services. All right, so for service business, personal service, here's where we have all those cosmetologies and the nail place, funeral services, laundry and cleaner garments, photographer, and shoe repair. A lot of people weren't going away, using their shoes very often, so shoe repair did suffer a loss. So there's all this information. You want to just think about it as general as possible. So back to my manufacturing food products, and then I could go ahead and leave it under bakery or sugar, fats and oils, because I'm a cake business. All right, as far as getting your NYS code, your NYS code is located on your taxes. Yes, when you look at your taxes, there is going to be a section that says NYS code. If by any chance it's not there, you can go ahead and click on this link. It will go ahead and give you this page. You could go ahead and go to the very top or right in the center and do a search. Okay. You could go ahead and click on or copy down what the code for your specific company is. So here is pies and frozen manufacturing or commercial bakeries. Okay. If you're not a commercial bakery, you could go ahead and just put in bakery, and they'll go ahead and give you additional NYS codes. All right. So let's go ahead and pick one. Unfortunately, I'm not a veteran. All right, so the questions that I just put, you answer them to your own personal business. So if you are a veteran, you'll put yes. If you are disabled, you'll put yes. The race that you identify with, your ethnicity, if you are a franchise, and if you're a minority owned business. All right. So go ahead, don't copy what I put. You're actually answering it in your own question. All right. Disclosures. The very first question asks, as of the date of this application, so as of today, is your business open and operating? What I've been told is that New York is open for business. So if you are open for business, you're going to go ahead and select yes. all right? Because you're open. Is your as number two, is your business organized for a for-profit business? Yes, we're making money. We're going ahead and having that Schedule C, that 1120 forms that have all that profit. Not as much as we like, but we're getting there, right? With the substantial compliance for federal law. So we want to go ahead and make sure that you have your documents in order. So yes, you updated your ABC license. Yes, you have your business license in order. You know, the health department came in and you're up to code. So yes. Now, do you owe any federal taxes or local taxes prior to July 15, 2020? This is a question. Prior to 2020, July 15th, do you owe any federal taxes? That's prior. That means before. All right. If so, do you have a repayment plan, a deferral plan, or at least an agreement so that you're paying those taxes back? If you do, you go ahead and select, oh, there he goes. Yep. Yes equals that you owe taxes but do not have a plan. And answer no is that you don't own taxes, or you own taxes and have a plan. All right. So I have a plan. I still have to go ahead and pay them, but a no means I do have a plan right there. See? Answer no if you do not own taxes or you owe taxes and have a plan. All right. Is your business for-profit part of the independent arts and culture sector? No, not today, not this one. Are you a disabled veteran-owned business? No. No. Okay. Is your business set up as a workers co-op? No. Where did I go? There we go. All right, so you would go down this whole list and you would enter as it applies to you. All right, so is greater than 50% of small business owned by a social economic disadvantaged person, which includes minority-owned, service disabled veteran-owned businesses, or business located in communities that were economically distressed prior to March 1st, 2020, per the U.S. Census. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and mark that. Now, remember that homework that I gave you to pull out your taxes? This is where it's going to come in handy. This is where you're going to put the gross receipts for 2019 and 2020. All right, so we're putting in the numbers and the numbers. How many months were you in operation in 2019? That's right, we're asking for 19. Because I was open prior to that, I worked all and was open all 12 months. During the pandemic, has your business received any COVID-related emergency funds? If you have, go ahead and select yes, and the drop down at the bottom will allow you to go ahead and go through the funds that were or are part of what we're looking at as far as eligibility. All right, so you're going to go ahead and enter the amounts, and this is in totality. So let's say that you have 2 program protection grants. You would go ahead and put yes, and you would put the total amount, and that's that you received, not to say that you received one and you're still waiting on another one, just the amount that you received. Okay.
Yadira, what if you didn't file your 2020 taxes yet?
You must have filed something. So go ahead and base it on that amount that you did, and make sure that you do it as soon as possible, because you will need your 2020 taxes. And you can go ahead and look at, well, the requirements are that you file your taxes.
Well,
So
if they filed an extension, what do they put in?
Well, when you file your extension, correct me if I'm wrong, it has amount on there of an estimated gross amount. So you can go ahead and use that to do this, and then upload your extension. And once you receive your taxes, make sure that you upload them. The only thing that I am going to let you know is that I would do them, I personally would do them sooner than better, later. Reason being is that if you don't, you do run the risk of your application and not going to that selection pile, right? Because not all of the documents have been uploaded. It just delays the grant if you're selected.
Hi, this is Nicole. I just wanted to chime in on that 2020 tax. Part of the program guidelines as established by the ESD is that you must have filed your 2020 tax return. If you filed an extension, you still wouldn't be able to be funded for the grant until you actually submitted the filed 2020 tax return.
Good point, Nicole. Awesome. And that's where I said that you would have that delay. Okay. All right. So if you use a where was it? All right. So if you did use a technical assistance provider, you would go ahead and put in what that provider was. If you did receive support from an entrepreneurial assistance center, you would go ahead and select that. Now, when we say, did you receive any support or assistance or help, meaning if you had to go ahead and give them a call, or if you even saw their ad on Facebook or Twitter, something that reminded you to actually apply for the grant, that's assistance enough. Okay, so go ahead and give them credit, because they want to make sure that they're reaching the population needed. Okay. Now, here's where you would go ahead and put SBDC. And then we want to know if your business is in currently need of technical support. This is a question that we wanted to go ahead and see as a survey question, not because we're going to go ahead and bombard you with different technical support, but we're getting the demographics of what businesses need. All right. If you are in need of a loan, just go ahead and put yes. If not, then that's fine. All right. So after you're done with the application and you were careful with typing everything in, you're going to go ahead and review it one more time. You get down to the very, very top, and then you're going to review it again. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and have you review it twice or even 3 times, just to make sure that all of the information that you're putting in is correct. I know it sounds repetitive, but you don't understand how many applications I see that have the wrong number, or the email is incorrect, or even let's say here, instead of my date of birth, I went ahead and put the date that I opened my business. So remember, all the information does need to be correct. Okay. Now, this is the reason that we went ahead and asked you to disable your pop-up blocker, for this reason alone. This will pop up once you hit submit. You're going to go ahead and select yes to submit your application. No will allow you to save and continue at a later time. But because you did all your homework, you have your taxes in front of you, you went ahead and listened to me very patiently, you're able to go ahead and click yes. You'll hit continue, and it will go ahead and take you to the second portion of the file. We want to go ahead and let you know that you will need to go ahead and upload your documents. We want you to, since you're already in front of your computer and you have your taxes, go ahead and do it now. All right, don't put it off for another day. Just go ahead and finish everything on. It is asking you to check your clutter, junk, or spam for your username. It's coming from noreply@mylendistry.com. You want to go ahead and copy this link, and when you go to your email, you're going to go ahead and enter it as a safe email so that you have it, it doesn't go to your junk mail. Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and it's going to come like this. It says no reply. Then it will have a link for you to go ahead and activate your account. This temporary password is going to go ahead and look very crazy. You can go ahead and copy it if you want. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but be patient. If you do copy it, don't copy any additional amounts of spaces. You will go ahead and be able to change the username and password. Sorry, just your password. Your username will be your email. Now, something that you should know, if you have more than one company and you are applying for all of them, you want to make sure that you're using a different email for each particular one. In addition, please make sure that you are entering, what did I just do? Sorry. Back to login. All right. Once you enter it, you go ahead and sign in, and it will ask you to go ahead and give a new password. My recommendation is, since it needs lower and uppercase numbers and a special characters, that you start with a number or a letter. Do not try to start with a character. Make sure that it has both capitals and you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. You can go ahead and submit it. And then this is where you're going to go ahead and see the awaiting selection process. If you have the amount that you're entered in your application, then, and it's not saying incomplete or a 0, then you're ready to upload your documents. All right. As I said, each of these sections does have a watch video that you're able to go ahead and enter. As I mentioned before, you will not be able to change your answers to the application. If by any chance you did a mistake, you will need to call our service number at Lendistry so that you can go ahead and get that changed. We are running out of time, so I want to go ahead and give you that call center number. It's 877-721-0097. All right. Do we have any last questions?
There were a couple in chat, but apparently Nicole has been responding. So unless we want to talk about it with the whole group and you haven't seen it in chat, I think all the questions have been answered. I think this has been very thorough. I just want to remind everybody that you can give us a call at 585-395-8410 if you have questions and want to talk to somebody, or you want to set up an appointment, and you can certainly do that online as well. at nyspdc.org.
All right, awesome. And as a reminder, the application guide is available for you to go ahead and have all the information that we went over and more. It will go over on how to download the application guide and how to fill it out. You do need to initial each of the sections, and then it will go ahead and help you with the uploads as far as giving you a Adobe Scan or a Genius Scan link so that you could upload it onto your phone if you don't have a scanner available. Scanning can be a little bit tedious, but if you're doing it correctly, it will allow for your application to be processed a lot quicker. Remember, don't upload anything that you wouldn't allow your employees to go ahead and pass on to your customers. If you do have a good relationship with your tax preparer, please ask them for a file in electronic form for your 2019 and 20 taxes. Most of the time, they will be happy to give it to you because they know that you are in need of the grant. You can also use Office Depot or Staples to go ahead and scan those documents. We do need your federal taxes. So if you do want to go ahead and talk to your tax preparer so they could point out what is included in your federal taxes, please use them for that. All right.
One last item. Can you talk about what NYS45 is?
All right. So for the NYS45 are for those that have employees. So it is a form that should be sent in with the state development. So if you have been doing that, you'll already know what it is. If you haven't, I do recommend you going to the Empire State Development site and searching how to go ahead and start and fill a form out.
Also, typically your tax preparer would have that information and have that form as well. Okay.
That's correct.
Any other questions, folks?
Any questions at all? No? All right. So just to let you know, we do need documents. They are listed under the red asterisk for those that are needed so that we can verify your application. And that will be, once again, 2019 taxes, 2020, your government ID, and your application certification. I do recommend that you provide a valid ID. Anything that is not valid will go ahead and slow down the process of the application. Business license, make sure they're valid. If you have a birthday coming up and your license will soon expire, go ahead and take care of it sooner rather than later. Okay.
Comment was made, person asking about the NYS 45 said that he checked NA because he wasn't familiar with it. Is that okay?
If they actually did file the form, then unchecking the NA and uploading it would be the best. If they don't have any employees because they haven't needed to because they are sole proprietors, NA is completely fine.
Okay. A couple of comments about thank you and it's helpful and thanks and so on. Thank you so much, Yadira. This is great. Lots of good information. And again, I think it pretty much points out that the process is not as onerous as some of the other grant programs that people have been applying for over the last 12 to 14 months. So this is great.
No, I thank everybody for holding on and listening to the end. Just make sure that you guys do spread the words to your other businesses around you, the ones that you attend to, your favorite boutique, so that, you know, we could get out of this as strong as we went in. Okay.
Well, Yadira, I want to thank you and certainly Lendistry and our partners at the Rochester Downtown Library and all the folks who attended. And hopefully everybody stays strong and healthy going forward.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.